8 for 2.
Nexon मॉइस्चराइजिंग लोशन बनाए आपकी स्किन को सॉफ्ट और मॉइस्चराइज। Nexon, अब ड्राई स्किन पर नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज।
Fine with Adil Rashid, he'll mix it up much more than Shamsi did the other night already in that first over. One pushed out of the front of the hand, a couple of googlies. He'll really mix it up from over to over.
Notice the wrist spinners, the right arm wrist spinners, using a lot of googlies. I noticed that in the IPL. I think people setting up to go, you know, to swing freely with the gap between bat there. That's a classic example. You see that gap between that huge gap as they look to drive or even slog sweep from outside off stump. And they're looking to spin it back.
I was surprised Shamsi didn't bowl more out of the back of the hand to Johnny Bairstow in particular the other night, who was lining him up to the leg side. Shamsi may have only bowled one out of the back of the hand.
Great pressure, Dilly, great pressure.
Well, that's well played. Really working with the pace of the ball there. It was flat and quicker. And working with it so well that it's worth 4.
Yeah, what's impressive about the shot is the control. He didn't try to overhit it. He saw that the backward point was quite square. Just using the pace. Remember that there's quite a stiff breeze that comes with Adil Rashid. So great execution, which causes a change in the field.
You bowled him. Oh, he's done him completely. And so often Rashid comes back from conceding a boundary. You've got a lot of courage, which you need as a wrist spinner.
th wicket for Adil Rashid. He's been a great entertainer for England, particularly in the white ball formats. He's a Hendricks. We've seen on a few occasions in this game trying to target that leg side. I mentioned earlier about the change in the field. It brings the error. And that's Reza Hendricks. He goes for 16, 65 for 3.
अली से स्प्रिंग मैट्रेस का एहसास बादलों के बिछोने पे सुला दे जैसे कोई नए ख्वाब जगाते हर रात को जैसे नई सुबह बनाते अली से स्प्रिंग मैट्रेस अली से वी डिजाइन कंफर्ट
Nexon मॉइस्चराइजिंग लोशन बनाए आपकी स्किन को सॉफ्ट और मॉइस्चराइज। Nexon, अब ड्राई स्किन पर नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज।
Very competitive, very smart, and not afraid when needed to bowl a little slow. Just get it up in the air a bit. Tease batsman, he got that higher and further after the flat ball that was reverse swept for 4 and won the day, as we said, as often does. Rassie van der Dussen, good ball striker for sure, and another good competitor, as is one of South African cricketers. They're all good competitors. 4, the simplest of flicks from Faf du Plessis, who's in good touch.
Yeah, carrying on where he left off on Friday. Faf du Plessis has been in really good form. Played really nicely in the IPL as well. Try and overhit this one. Just goes with the arm. Gets into a really good position. Plants his back foot outside off stump. Sees that big gap on the leg side and just flicks it over mid-wicket.
JP, how many discussions would there be in the dressing room about the release of the ball from the hand? Because we almost seem to see more scrambled seam balls, slower balls, you know, trick balls than seam-up balls. I think this one is a seam-up, but the one before was certainly, well, no, that's a wobble ball. The one before was a scrambled seam.
Yeah, it's something that we've seen on many occasions in T20 game, using that variation.
But do you look at a pitch before the match and say this is a pitch to you know, to get it full and scramble it a bit? Or is it something the bowler works out there and then? In other words, what's the level of discussion that goes into it?
I think from a bowling perspective, you definitely have a look at whether there's any variable bounce. And if that's the case, that's definitely an option, particularly the cross-seam ball, which creates that variable bounce almost more excessively. But this is something that Ben Stokes relies on quite a bit, the cross seam, but also that slight leg cutter. We've seen Stuart Broad use that quite a bit in Test match cricket as well. Players are often trying to upskill their game.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned that will be a wide. Yeah, fair enough, I think. Stokes is distressed by it, but you got to live with it. I reckon, if anything here, there might be a bit of low bounce looking at this pitch.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about the two dismissals in Temba Bavuma and Reza Hendricks. Both cross-bat shots. And historically here in Paul, it's always become a difficult shot. You've got to be looking straight down the ground.
Yeah, Temba's certainly hit the base of the stumps. I think some bottom edge was involved, but you're right, I don't think it bounced as much as he thought it was going to bounce. Although he'll look at the stroke, as you've rightly pointed out, and think, head came up with the body and pretty ugly at the end. And then this one from Reza Hendricks, just having hit the most delightful reverse sweep to the boundary.
And the difference for me is the intention in the shot. So you think of Temba Bavuma really trying to be really aggressive, and you look at the boundary after the wicket from Faf du Plessis, almost stroked it over the inner ring. We kept his shape pretty well. That's something that you really got to focus on this surface.
Bowled much slower from Ben Stokes, taking everything, just 111 Ks. 10 gone now, we're halfway through, and it's 75 for 3.
UK लाकर तो देखो।
Nexon मॉइस्चराइजिंग लोशन बनाए आपकी स्किन को सॉफ्ट और मॉइस्चराइज। Nexon, ड्राई स्किन पर नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज।
Well, that shows us, or illustrates exactly what Nasser Hussain said earlier. Jofra Archer very rarely, if ever, lets England down in the power play. 2 overs, 8 dot balls.
Hey!
He's done him completely. Even Faf can barely believe what a mess he got into. A rooted back foot, but outside the crease.
Beautiful bit of bowling from Adil Rashid. He's got a nice breeze, can drift it in, find a bit of purchase. He's not afraid of tossing the ball up. This one just pushed a little bit out of the front of the hand, but there's purchase off the pitch, and very simple stumping for Jos Buttler. What a bowler Adil Rashid is in this middle passage of the game for England. He's over 50 wickets now. He's in a rare club. Joined Broad and Graham Swan, Chris Jordan. And that is a key wicket for England with Faf du Plessis in good touch. South Africa just struggling a little, 75 for 4 now, just after the halfway mark.
You join us with Heinrich Klaassen on a hat-trick. Last ball of the previous over, first ball of this from Adil Rashid. 2 fine examples of the art of wrist spin, and plenty of spin out there too for that leg break. Oh. This was a gem of a delivery, JP.
Yeah, Faf will reflect on this and almost feels like it's half-hearted. Kind of have an idea of coming down the wicket. Just slight shimmy.
The old shimmy. You can't miss the ball if you're going to shimmy. Don't want to be hitting across it either.
That could have easily gone in the air, couldn't it, to that man at short extra cover. Klaassen was looking to work against the spin edge. Could have popped in there quite easily. Talking about Arch, I mean, I absolutely take the point about the play, but he's one of those bowlers who's multi-phase bowler for England. He will come on in any of the 3 stages, really, at the start, mid and end. Bowled excellent Yorkers the other night when most people bowling York went the distance. 77-4.
Dark spots, total treatment.
Face Fresh Cleanser Face Wash.
Your face fresh, वही beautiful. Face fresh.
Nexon मॉइस्चराइजिंग लोशन बनाए आपकी स्किन को सॉफ्ट और मॉइस्चराइज. Nexon, अब ड्राई स्किन पर नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज.
A fabulous Cape Town day. South Africa put into bat by Owen Morgan for the 2nd game in a row, finding it very difficult. It's a very typical English performance, very thorough. They're playing to their own rhythm, banging their own drum. That George Linder figure, by the way, the strike rate of 200, is on the back of just 1 innings. So it's a little bit unreal, but he did strike it well the other night. Depends on this pair. 2 warrior type cricketers. You feel they like scrap. They've certainly got time at the crease if that's their chosen route. I reckon they've got 2-3 overs of knocking it around. The off boundary can come off a bad ball. If you want to lose too many war wickets now. You don't want to keep picking out fielders either. That really is frustrating when you time the ball out well. It's bounced.
Yeah, just to pick up on that point, to see how these 2 go about, particularly in the next 4 to 5 overs, with only George Linder, who will sort of recognize batter left in the shed. No Andile Petlakwayo. So you only have 1 out-and-out all-rounder in George Linder.
Jordan's bowling to a very orthodox field. This is the old sort of one-day setup where the third man in the cover sweeping on the offside, a square leg and a long sweeping on the leg side. Mid-on's back in case of a knock over the top, but it may be that it's a difficult pitch to improvise on. Very easy to be sure, but it certainly seems just a little too paced or a little uneven, one way or another. Well, Morgan went with the same team, so he stuck with Tom Curran, and both, well, most of us have mentioned Athers certainly said that is Owen Morgan's way, to stick with people rather than dump them after a bad performance, and it's a good thing for continuity and for confidence. The option would have been Moeen Ali get the second spinner into the side, particularly as he offers the batting advantage, though he hasn't been in good nick, but they chose not to do that. They've gone with the same team, and at the moment they're in control of the match. 12 overs gone, 82 for 4.
अली से स्प्रिंग मैट्रेस का एहसास बादलों के बिछोने पे सुला दे, जैसे कोई नए ख्वाब जगा दे, हर रात को जैसे नई सुबह बना दे। अली से स्प्रिंग मैट्रेस, अली से वी डिजाइन कंफर्ट।
Nexon मॉइस्चराइजिंग लोशन बनाए आपकी स्किन को सॉफ्ट और मॉइस्चराइज। Nexon, ड्राई स्किन पर नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज।
Did they play a little bit later? As has been the case for England so many occasions in the recent past, Rashid to the fore in the middle overs. He's been brilliant again. 1 overs 2 for 14. 2 important wickets. Reed Hendricks started to get going and missed one, and a good delivery to turn away from Faf du Plessis.
Watch out, Jez.
England with 2 attacking fielders in at short extra cover and short mid-wicket, which suggests that Rashid's going to get it up there. But he's bowled it a little higher, not so much floatier, just a little higher since that flat ball that was reverse swept for 4 by Risa Hendricks. That's a little flatter. Certainly a spin out there for him.
Just trying to work out how he can get a slip in here. 85 for 4, Rashid spinning it. 2 new batters at the crease. Mind seeing a slip, maybe from mid-wicket.
Not maybe, definitely. That's the spot. Get him in. To purchase, if it turns, tries to flick it leg side, he can bring court and bold.
Especially with the tail that South Africa have. You know, they have a bowling all-rounder in next, and then some bowlers. I know Rabada can bat, but it's not like England who have a lot of batting. If England get one more wicket here,